Fighty Radio.
Hello there and welcome to a brand new edition of 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside me my co-host Guillermo Cita and Albert Cita. This week's show is brought to you by our fine line of sponsors. First with Rocking Green eco-friendly cleaner products, 5 Rounds clothing line, and of course the RMA Foundation. Rise up against bullion. This week we got all the fallout from UFC 192, I believe. Right? Yeah, 192, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, out of Houston.
Yep. Also talk about a little bit of Johny Hendricks and him going on a diet, and some Dana White and landing legal issues to fighters.
You're telling me it's not okay to sport a Roy Nelson belly? Like...
No, not unless you're Roy Nelson or plan to compete the heavyweight division.
I'm competing against Roy Nelson. Look at this belly.
Yeah. So, John, before we get started every show, I want to ask you, at least for this season, fantasy updates. Going good? Going bad?
This week might be my roughest week, but I'm still in good position since I was 3-0 in all my leagues. So.
Okay.
I'm actually doing better. I'm actually probably going to win 4 out of my 5 leagues this week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm the most competitive one. I'm down 3 points with Megatron tomorrow.
Okay.
So.
I'm doing pretty bad this week. I have a bye week for Tom Brady and Gronkowski, so
Dang,
I'm like 0 points. But I thought I'd just take the big hit now.
Who'd you put as your replacement quarterback?
Brandon Whedon.
No. Colin Kaepernick.
Oh.
That was an auto draft. I started my draft. I just picked my starters, and I'll just let the computer finish the draft
How
for
did
me.
someone fall from grace so far down?
Aren't you a 49ers fan? Did you
Yeah,
ask yourself that question, Mr. Colin Kaepernick?
I think they're begging for Tebow more than Dallas is.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so let's get right into it. Round number 1, UFC 192 is in the books for history to look back on. Gentlemen, thoughts and reactions from Saturday's event.
I thought it was a solid card. I think it was entertaining. I think at first I was a little bit worried since Hendricks dropped out. I was like, I don't know if this card's gonna be that good. But I think for me, just even the preliminary cards, I think they're entertaining from top to bottom. I think we saw some new juices in here and something I need to kind of think about where they're at.
Guillermo, was this a card for the casual fan or for like the intermediate MMA, hardcore MMA fan?
It had the names, and especially if you had the Tyrone Woodley versus Johny Hendricks, it had names that people really recognized, and people were kind of excited.
The casual fan, or
I think so. I mean, DC. Anytime you start going into the heavier weights, I think it attracts more of the casual fan.
Albert's shaking his head.
No,
I'm gonna disagree because I think this one had too many entry guys and 2 guys I think are not. I mean, the name is there, but I think the recognition needs to get a little bit bigger. I think I think if like the way I think about it, would I recommend this to someone that has never watched UFC or MMA before? No, I wouldn't. Nor even a guy that casually watches. I'm like, you know what, dude? You know what? Maybe you can skip this one. And not check it out.
I mean, just think about it. Rashad Evans is a main eventer. You had him before this. He wasn't even the co-main event. You had Johny Hendricks
out for a year.
But I mean, still, people know who he is. People know who Johny Hendricks.
The casual.
That's what I'm saying. People know who Rashad Evans is.
I think the casual fan can forget Rashad Evans. I'm not gonna lie to you.
If they tune into UFC tonight every Wednesday on Fox Sports 1.
Exactly.
For a casual fan, you don't watch that.
True.
And then DC's a very fan favorite. So I think the names were there for the casual fan. I think by losing Johny Hendricks and Tyrone Woodley, they were introduced to, it wasn't such as exciting names or sexy names I want to say.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought, to me, it delivered. I thought it was a lot of these fights has something, implications, high implications.
Time for round number 2. Let's talk to the main event now. We got the whole round specifically for the Daniel Cormier against Alexander Gustafsson.
Or the light heavyweight division.
Light heavyweight division, a little bit of both. So, obviously, it was a main event which saw 2 guys pretty much beat up on each other for 25 minutes. Cormier did take the split decision win. Just thoughts, reaction on the fight, guys, first. As a fan,
as a fan, I was happy with the outcome. I mean, that's kind of what you want. Just lay it all out on the line. I mean, like, you got the challenger, you're trying to beat the champion, you got the champ trying to defend. So I think you saw both. I mean, it could have gone either way. But that's what you want to see. You don't want to see people kind of. We've seen it in the past because the belt's on the line.
They're too tentative.
They hold back. You didn't see that, and that's what I was really happy about.
Yeah, I think as far as being a main event, it lived up to the main event. I go back to last week's show where we were trying to tell people it wasn't because we didn't like the matchup against DC against Alex Gustafsson. That wasn't the case. The case was he was coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
And I think that was the argument we were making last week. But we all agreed. Well, me and Alex agreed because he weren't here last week. But we all agreed that sorry about that. But we all agreed that it was going to be a good fight, and on paper, it seemed like it was going to be a very entertaining fight, and so I think it lived up to that. But the only argument we were making last week was just the fact that he was coming off of a loss.
Yeah, well, now Gustafsson's 1-3 in his last 4, so now he's kind of back to the drawing board, right? You think he gets an elite light heavyweight after this match?
He has to be. I mean, I still...
Is he still win or loss? Still one of the top light heavyweights in the world?
And the people that he's lost to, John Jones, DC...
Rumble.
And Rumble, besides Rumble, so just John Jones and DC, they weren't like
champions.
Yeah, exactly, and they weren't one-sided. I mean, it wasn't like he was getting dominated. So that's where I kind of changed my perspective on Gustafsson. Is that he's an elite athlete, and I think he can still beat a lot of the lower level guys.
Yeah.
So I still think he'll get a top 5 guy in the light heavyweight division.
So I want to switch it up real quick to Daniel Cormier. Is this a light heavyweight champion the UFC can be proud of?
I'll go first. I'll go first.
Yeah, go.
I think so. The first thing that we all questioned on DC was, is he getting legitimately tested in the light heavyweight division? I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning, everybody was like, who is Patrick Cummings? Who is
then he beat Hendo.
Then Hendo, when he should be fighting the elite.
Yeah.
I think at this point, not only does he represent the UFC well, I mean, like, he's clean, he's very talkative, he's on television. He does talk smack here and there, but I mean, like, for the most part, it's kind of clean.
Yeah.
So I think it's a whole different perspective to what John Jones brings, where it's like, this is bad boy, but he doesn't want to acknowledge the bad boy in him. And this guy, hey, I'm a good guy. I'm an Olympic I'm
kind of true. This is how it really is. I'm not going to pretend like a fake facade for the corporate sponsors type of thing. Right?
And you see all the hard work,
vibe he got from John Jones,
all the hard work he's ever put into it, and that's something that young children, people can look up to.
Yeah, Albert. Champion you can be proud of?
I think.
Is this your champion? Is DC the people's champion?
I really do think so. I think I personally think he could have won that John Paul Jones fight. I don't care. I mean, we could go back and look at it, and I can pinpoint and tell you like where I thought DC clearly had it.
Next week's episode, Albert's gonna go pinpoint the whole John Jones Cormier. If you want to see that special edition,
I always consider him the true champion, regardless of what people were saying that because John Jones guys the title strip from him.
Yeah.
But I think that's not only does he articulate himself well. Outside of the octagon, he's respected as far as being a wrestling coach. Yeah. Guillermo, who didn't mention, actually met with some of his wrestling students' parents. That DC actually trains, and he couldn't say anything bad about the guy. I mean, we've seen in Embedded and other countdowns and see how much he does for the community.
As a coach and a teacher, right?
We've seen him commentate, be an announcer. So I think he represents it well, and he did every media obligation. With a lot of fighters like to complain about that, and even though he may have a couple complaints here and there, he did with a smile, and he did every single media thing, knowing that he really had to promote this thing since he is the main event.
Yeah, he's always on the radio. One of the guys you always hear, even when he's not fighting, he's always on there promoting the organization, promoting the sport of mixed martial arts. So this is a guy, I mean, it's always been to me, the light heavyweight division is kind of like the bad boy division, right? You got Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, guys who kind of like butt against the system, Ken Shamrock. I mean, your boy Machida was kind of a clean-cut guy, right?
Yeah.
He didn't last too long, though.
He didn't last too long, though.
Hey, Jason Hendricks, the Dragon's out for the count, right?
Tanker Rashad was considered a bad boy when he was a champion as well.
So, but it's kind of like, maybe not John Jones. I mean, DC can't, get the good guy out of everybody, so we shall see. Good round, guys. I like you guys getting loose.
Yeah.
We'll see what round 3 has in store in a little bit. Round number 3, I want to talk about Daniel Cormier. Now, what should we expect from now as far as challengers? Obvious choice, just because their beef before was not John Jones, but Ryan Bader, who was victorious at UFC 192 against Rashad Evans, took away a decision. But you guys all remember the post-fight press conference where Bader kind of crashed it and said, like, what DC say? I wanted to fight you, Bader, but the UFC said
that's no. An easy paycheck.
I'll give you the easiest fight. I said, give me Ryan Bader. So, is it Bader? Should be John Jones, who's on probation now? Or should be any sleepers you guys got, maybe? Somebody?
No, I 100% agree that it should be Ryan Bader, especially going back. Not only did he beat Rashad Evans, but also the little beef that he has with DC. I don't think John Jones is still going to be back in time. So the clear contender, it has to be Ryan Bader. Well, how many wins does Ryan Bader have to do until he finally gets a title shot? I mean, like, since his Glover Teixeira knockout loss, he's actually gone on a little quick
5 wins in a row.
5-win streak. So,
but to the haters out there, they're all decision victories.
Hey, a win's a win. And then you add the little beef, I think it'll sell.
He did. He basically kicked out Phil Davis to the UFC, did he?
Yeah. No, he did.
And now with the women's short, Albert, you like Bader next?
I really think it's Ryan Bader. The only thing that can probably stop this matchup is the far extent of DC's injuries. Because I know he did a post-conference interview, and he said that he couldn't really stand, so he sat down and did it. So we don't really know as far as how long he's going to be suspended as far as medical. And if it turns out that John Jones can match up with them from when he heals and tries to do training camp, and John Jones legal trouble gets out of the way. More, so it might match up, and guess what? Ryan Bader gets the low end of this steak. But I really do think Ryan Bader's up next, unless, like I told you, it happens where it just so happens that John Jones and DC could meet at the right time because of the injuries.
I think if Anthony Rumble Johnson, let's say, actually, let me go back. If Ryan Bader doesn't get the DC matchup because of John Jones, I think Anthony Rumble Johnson versus Ryan Bader matches up really well for number one contender. I know we don't want to see the rematch between Rumble Johnson, or I don't know if many people want to see the rematch with Rumble Johnson versus DC. But I think the way the paths are going, I think that will set up a good number one contender if Ryan Bader can't.
Well, the other thing, too, is Glover's facing Patrick Cummings. Yeah. And I think this is a huge thing. No, because
Patrick Cummings now? It could be. Remember whenever like, this guy was a Starbucks?
I know.
Let me make the argument. If Glover Teixeira beats Patrick Cummings, this is a fresh new opponent for DC. DC has never faced Glover, and it's just someone to put in there, I think, that has the track value, and I think people would accept him as the number one contender against DC. But if Patrick Cummings beat Glover Teixeira, that's a huge win for Patrick Cummings. And you can make the argument that Patrick Cummings says, look, I took that fight in a short notice. I didn't get the proper training camps. And not only that, look at who I've beat since I got here. Yeah, I had one hiccup, but he has been a solid opponent. So you can even make the argument that Patrick Cummings could face him.
I don't know. It seems like we're, again, I said this earlier, we're pulling hair now. I said this with the Mighty Mouse. It seems like the light heavyweight division, I'm looking at the rankings right now at the light heavyweight division.
It's not too deep,
It's not too deep, and it's guys that, DC shouldn't be matching up against because it's either wins and loss. It's not very consistent winning streaks. That's what I'm saying.
Other than Ryan Bader, but
Ryan Bader, and that's why I say Ryan Bader should be the next one on the line.
Okay, before we have a little bit under a minute left in this round. DC versus Bader or DC versus Teixeira, are those like main event pay-per-view worthy, or like is that a thing that UFC is gonna double stack of 2 title fights, 1 pay-per-view?
2 title fights in 1 pay-per-view.
Regardless of it's DC and then
I know I said it would sell, but it wouldn't sell by itself.
Yeah.
If it was a UFC on Fox, it's the honest truth. If it's UFC on Fox, I don't see no problem main eventing Bader or Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
But them on their own, I don't think it's. But see, then again, I've gotten spoiled, and I need to see. I would really want to see a different title shot, even if it's a flyweight. I want to see a title shot.
Well, the thing is, this is how I know if it's a pay-per-view worthy by itself. After this podcast, if Jason Hendricks calls me or texts me and says he's going to order this fight, Ryan Bader versus DC, then I know, it's a moneymaker. But I'm pretty sure he will not text me to say that he's going to order it. DC, but if it's on UFC on Fox, he'll more than happy DVR it and watch it.
I think if he asks Ryan Bader, sure he wants the pay-per-view shares, but he just wants a title shot, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, what does this guy have to do?
You can't complain, really. Just give me the title shot.
Especially since the losses Ryan Bader has, he's a loss away from not even seeing the title ever again in his life.
Over to Bellator. All right, so that's it for round number 3. We're going to take a quick break and come back into the championship round, so stick around, guys. All right, thanks for sticking around. Like small little break. Now it's time to enter the championship rounds. But the day before UFC 192 on Friday, we all got word that former UFC welterweight champion Johny Hendricks was forced off of the card against his bout against Tyron Woodley because of weight cutting issues. I thought it was funny because the last week's podcast we talked about Johny Hendricks, getting irked at the fans, saying that the fans fall out and get a title shot, and we kind of brought up the fact that he has openly says I have trouble cutting weight. My diet is actually what it should be, and last week he ends up missing the fight because of kidney stones and dehydration. So, just thoughts on Johny Hendricks being forced off the card due to weight cutting issues, guys.
I think it was good that he was forced out of the card. I mean, nobody wants to see someone's health at risk when it comes to just weight cutting.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, it was rumored that he was cutting 26 pounds.
Like the week of, right?
Yeah.
Like Thursday, I think.
yeah, to get down to welterweight. And it's funny because if you watch the Embedded or the UFC Countdown, he didn't look as big as he normally looks. I think I've seen him bigger for other fights, and this one he was actually kind of slim. And I thought it wasn't going to be as bad as I thought. But then again, he must have some heavy bones because 26 pounds and the way he looked too, it was ridiculous to me to think that that's how much he had to cut.
Yeah.
I'm just very disappointed at the fact that, I mean, like, you're supposed to be a high level athlete. You would think you would train like one.
Yeah.
You would think you would be
like
prepared for it. I mean, like, if you talk about even Chad Mendes, he took the fight against Conor McGregor very short distance. Yeah, maybe he wasn't maybe a little bit over his weight, but not too far off. It amazes me how far, you know, they do this weight cut and then how far they let themselves go right after.
You have guys like obviously like Benson Henderson, like everybody Alpha Male, they're all in shape 24/7. Josh Koscheck had the reputation too for being in shape no matter what, anytime of the day. So it's kind of like you think like he's a wrestler too, right? So you should be used to the weight cutting issue and always be in shape. But
I don't know if he got too comfortable because of his big shots and you know the knockouts, and he got comfortable. Well, you know that's how I can beat the opponents, and that's how I'm gonna stick to now because I know I can win that way. But it's no excuse. I mean, like I know the only person that defended him was Diego Sanchez, saying that you know sometimes the weight cut you let go of the water or you don't drink water, and then that's what helps you get kidney stones to begin with.
Yeah.
And everybody bashed him. They was commenting on Twitter bashing Johny Hendricks, but I totally agree. Had he been looking out for his health from the beginning, he wouldn't have to be doing a 26-pound weight cut.
Yeah. So Albert, harsh reactions from the fans and MMA critics warranted, right?
Yeah, and the only thing that worries me about Johny Hendricks at middleweight is the guy's 5'9".
Yeah.
The current,
that's what Dana White did say. He's a middleweight now.
Yeah, the current champion is registered at 6'2".
That's Chris Weidman, right?
Yeah, Chris Weidman. And
his name.
And
Give him some respect.
Yeah.
And then you still have
the
Luke,
guy with the belt.
You still have Luke Rockhold, and he's a huge guy. I mean, there's huge middleweights, and I don't know if the height issue is gonna be. I mean, I really do think it's his bone structure and not necessarily. No, I really do think that. I think he did eat. I think he had a healthy camp.
So he's littered big bone. I want to give him the benefit.
Yeah, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say like. It's a hard weight cut regardless to him, even if he eats right.
I say, you know, they were hard on Gaslam, Dana White specifically.
Yeah.
I say, why didn't give him the same punishment and make him face middleweight? Hey,
I think he is. Dana White said you're complete at middleweight.
Okay,
but
complete at middleweight, and then if you can and start proving to me that you can make welterweight, then I'll put you back down on welterweight. I think it not only does it sucks for the fans, but come on, Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
This guy has been prepared to fight Johny Hendricks, and then the day of, hey, he's not gonna make weight. And it's like, come on, like why did I have to work hard if you weren't even gonna show up?
And what did White say? You know what? You're getting a title shot. So
I mean, that's the best part of it.
We'll see.
Because he did another interview and he said, well, yeah, he should be lined up, but you never know what could happen. You know,
what if that Condit versus Law looks like a great fight? Don't do automatic rematch.
Just get the facts out there. Luke Rockhold 6'3" with the 70 reach advantage.
All right, bring up Johny Hendricks real quick. Before this round's over, bring up Johny Hendricks.
But let's go back to what's his name, Tyron Woodley.
Yeah,
69 reach.
69.
Johny Hendricks.
Almost like
5'9",
and he's 5'9".
Wow, almost 10.
He could be like a lightweight, huh?
Yeah, he could almost be a lightweight.
All right, we'll finish up. We're gonna say Tyron Woodley.
About Tyron Woodley, if he does get jumped over, how pissed would you be? Because I wasn't able to display what I've been working on, how much I've improved because of the way I wasn't able to fight. What I am impressed is Benson Henderson stepped up. He said, "I'll take the fight in 1 day notice."
That's a different animal for Benson Henderson.
Well, I think he is going to get his show money, so that should be good.
So there you go.
And he still made weight.
All right, coming up, round number 5. Time for round number 5, the last round. Give me all you got. Give me all you guys got. So this week we're going to stray away from UFC 192, going outside of the octagon. John Jones, obviously, his legal troubles were announced, like with probation, I think, and like so many hours of community services. But also, I guess Dana White said the UFC and Dana White lending his moral support to John Jones, which led people to outlets. Hey, how come you're helping John Jones out? What about your boy Nick Diaz? 5-year suspension. Marijuana.
Look,
So how did White response now? What did you say? The UFC's legal team gonna help Nick Diaz? Is that true? Did I read that right?
You read that right, and I think this has to do more with morals and ethics than anything else. But let's keep it 100% real.
John Bon Jones pleaded guilty, just so you know, dude. Moral ethics.
And then Nick Diaz pled the fifth every time. Remember he said, plead the fifth.
And I mean, I know we've defended Nick Diaz, but I mean, he did illegal drugs too. I mean, like, what ethics is there? I mean, these guys are doing illegal stuff.
Illegal in California.
That's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to get at. But to tell you the truth, I think somewhere deep down inside, Dana White's a Diaz fan. I think if you were to take off that shirt, he'll have something to say. You know,
209.
I love the Wolf tickets. You know,
Stockton,
something like that. Because he talks all this smack about Diaz, but yeah, he puts him in the main event against GSP.
Both of them.
He puts him in Carlos Conde. I mean, the guy loves him.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Well, I think Nick and Nate.
He waits. The guy takes a year off. It's cool. You know, like I think deep down inside he likes Diaz. But on top of that, I think he has to make a stand to really show that he supports all his fighters. I mean, if you look at social media, most fighters back up Diaz as far as that this is a ridiculous suspension.
I mean, Ronda Rousey was.
A ridiculous fine.
The biggest star, Ronda Rousey
the biggest
did.
star. And then the fact that there's some that are even saying publicly that they will not fight in Nevada.
Yeah.
I think Dana White has to take a stand and show support for his fighters.
I think he just wants to look good amongst the fighters.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
not
not
necessarily the fans.
No,
Because,
really?
Yeah, I don't think so, because we were talking about ethics. Again, John Bon Jones was in a car accident. They found illegal drugs in it. The woman that he crashed into was pregnant. She broke her arm or something like
and
that.
he fled the scene.
And yet...
We're talking about John Jones, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're talking about John Jones, but how... You're telling me that I should be supporting that?
Yeah.
I mean, like... and he pleaded guilty to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think he won me over.
So
he won over the fighters. It's like, okay, so if I do get into legal trouble, maybe Dana White will use his legal team to help me out, or he'll be there for moral support. But I think he won the fighters over, not me, or I hope not the fans, because these guys are doing illegal stuff.
So you think Dana White should stay out of the fighter's personal business, legal business?
I think he should, but in this case, you guys forget that this is a state Nevada fighting commission. That's the key word, it's the fighting commission.
Yeah.
This is the only time
Athletic
I think
commission.
Mexico,
athletic, yeah. But that's the reason I think he should step in as far as Diaz. Diaz, I think, was the right thing to do because, one, it affects his
But remember, he did it
directly.
after John Bon Jones.
Yeah.
Or that's reported
Yeah.
news.
Yeah, but I think the whole John Bon Jones thing should be handled because that was a personal matter. This one is a fight issue, and it's about a bigger thing because this illegal drug, or technically it's legal in some states, shouldn't really have such a cruel punishment to it, especially since there's no real enhancement to help you with to compete in that sport.
Yeah.
Well, let's compare criminal.
Yeah.
So I mean, like if you look at the NFL, if we're comparing sport to sport, Michael Vick, dog. That's a criminal offense. He went to jail. You didn't see Roger Goodell at the court hearings.
And he shouldn't have.
But yeah, Dana White's with John Bon Jones. After he sat down with Michael Vick and like, let's talk about this, this, and this. What took place? Did you learn from this? Yes, I agree.
That's because he wanted to come back into the league.
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly when Dana White should step in and offer more support. Not when he's pleading guilty.
So basically, when you're ready to become a fighter again, then come talk
exactly.
with Dan.
Yeah, I mean, like for Diaz, it's not really a criminal thing. It's more of the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Yeah.
So I think that's a bigger fight to represent the fighters.
I see your point now. Okay, I get your point. I get your point now.
So that I think that's my biggest thing about Dana White being at the John Jones court hearing.
And I agree. My argument wasn't he shouldn't even been in the John Bon Jones thing, but my argument, I think it means more that he really should back up Diaz. I think if he didn't back up Diaz, there would be a bigger issue here if it was just John Jones.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can understand how much is in play with John Jones. I mean, if you really think about it, he's a huge superstar that they can't afford to lose.
I mean, he was on the Reebok commercials, Gatorade,
and that's
Nike.
That's the other thing is let's be honest. Dana White's there not for moral support because he wants John Jones to come back to the UFC after this because he's gonna make money.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Instead of going around tiptoeing that you're there for the fighter.
Yeah, so that is it. We'll see what lies in store for John Jones after his probation and I think like 72 appearances for charity or something, like a high number of
good though
charity events.
I would have been 2,000. I would say I'll throw the book at him.
That's it for today's show.
The book would be jail time.
No, really. Until next week's show, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. That's FIVE. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. And please visit FiveRoundMMA.com. You can also check out this podcast at FightBookMMA.com under the podcast page. That's FightBookMMA.com. And a big, huge thank you to all of our sponsors with Rock and Green eco-friendly clothing products, 5 Rounds clothing line, and of course the Redemption Martial Arts, the RMA Foundation. Without them, the show would be just a bunch of dudes talking MMA. But they give us legitimacy, right?
Yep, they sure do.
All right, Albert, what do you got?
I just want to say Seth Rollins is the greatest in the world. I don't care what anybody says.
What?
He's the man.
Okay.
Yeah, the man losing every match. Oh yeah, the cream of the crop.
You are now listening to FRMMA Radio.